Between December 25th and April 7th, 15 Ventura County residents were victims of burglaries. In addition to that, a dozen others as far away as Nevada were victimized by a group of violent criminals. And when you hear some of the details, I'm sorry to say they're probably almost animals. The investigation led detectives to multiple states, and it was sad to find out what these people were really like. On March 31st in the city of Camarillo, these people broke into a home, and in that home was an elderly couple in their 80s. And they were surprised. The 80-year-old gentleman was paying his bill sitting at a desk when suddenly he had an arm around his neck and he was being choked. He was smart enough and attentive enough to fake like he had passed out, and he went to the ground. Another suspect went upstairs to the top floor of the residence and confronted the 80-year-old woman who lived there and pushed her down the stairs. They ransacked the house, they stole the property, and they fled from the area. Through outstanding investigative work, using a multitude of techniques, and some incredible surveillance work by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Robbery Burglary Task Force, detectives were able to identify and in early May arrest 4 suspects whose pictures you see up here on the board. Roderick Broomfield, Michael Bishop, Joy Williams, all arrested for the invasion robbery in the city of Camarillo. They also identified and arrested a 4th suspect, Osama Mamouni, who was part of the burglary crew, but was not part of the home invasion robbery. All of the suspects, all of the arrestees have affiliation with Los Angeles area criminal street gangs. 3 of the 4 suspects were taken into custody without incident. Mr. Bishop was tracked to a home in Lancaster, California, where Ventura County Sheriff's investigators executed a search warrant. He barricaded himself in the house, and we called members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Special Enforcement Bureau, who after negotiations made entry into the house and took Bishop into custody. With him were 2 loaded firearms, as you'll see in the picture up on the board there, from the area where he was hiding in the attic. A little bit about these people. Joy Williams, 27 years old, from Los Angeles. She's currently in custody in Santa Barbara County with a $1 million warrant from Ventura County Sheriff's Department, being charged with 12 counts of burglary, 2 counts of attempted burglary. She has prior convictions in 2011 of not only burglary, but possession of stolen property and burglary in 2013. Roderick Broomfield, 29 years old, out of Los Angeles, is currently in custody in Ventura County. He was on parole at the time in lieu of $1 million bail. His charges include 2 counts of attempted robbery, 5 counts of burglary, 2 counts of elder abuse for the barbaric way he treated those poor people, 1 count of street terrorism, furthering acts in the name of a street gang, and providing false information to a peace officer. And it's not his first trip around. He has prior convictions for assault with a deadly weapon and being a felon in possession of a handgun. Michael Bishop, 24 years old, is in custody in Ventura County with a bail of $1.5 million. He's in custody on 1 count of robbery, 1 count of burglary, 2 counts of elder abuse, 1 count of street terrorism. It wasn't long while he was in jail that he was rearrested inside custody for 1 count of attempted forced oral copulation and 2 counts of robbery. He has prior convictions of burglary and possession of stolen property. Osama Mamouni, 28 years old, is in custody in Los Angeles County with a pending $1 million warrant from Ventura County. He's been charged with 6 counts of burglary and 3 counts of attempted burglary. What we need the media to do is share about how these people work and what they do their job to help prevent or at least do whatever we can to prevent future incidents like this. So these gang members would drive up from Los Angeles, they would rent or lease newer model cars, and they would drive down a neighborhood and look for an address. And when they found that address, they would go on their phone app, to many apps that are out there, whether it be the white pages or whatever app they might use, and they'd locate the phone number for that residence. And they'd call that house. They'd let it ring. When no one would answer, they'd go up and start knocking on the doors. And if no one answered the door, they'd force entry and burglarize the house and steal the property from inside. Now, the violence occurred with that poor couple in Camarillo because, not unlike all of us, we don't really answer the phone when our home phone rings, do we? We think it's a solicitor. And they didn't answer the phone, and they didn't hear well. And they didn't hear the knock at the door. And they didn't hear these two animals break into their home and realize they were about to be terrorized. So what we encourage people to do is answer your phone, and if it's a solicitor, hang up. And if they hear someone knocking at the door, keep the door closed, but acknowledge to the people outside that you're there. And if it's somebody that they don't recognize, call 911. That's what they're there for. And it's amazing how many of these crimes, especially the violent ones, that we can prevent just by getting people to let people, the crooks on the outside, know that someone's there. Because most of them are cowards. They victimize the elderly, and they'll victimize a home when the people are gone. With that, I'd like to introduce Chief McSweeney from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Thank you, Sheriff. I believe the Sheriff's covered this really very, very well. It is in some ways a broader case than the specifics you were offered here. Osama Mamouni is sort of a mastermind ringleader of a number of suspects who have victimized communities in the exact same way the Sheriff described throughout Los Angeles and Orange County, even into Nevada. These kinds of criminals don't know any borders. They go where they feel there's opportunity and victimize people very, very freely. I think the case is just another remarkable example of some great police officers doing great police work without regard to the agency they work for. I think some of you think there are rivalries or contentions between police agencies and of sharing of information and cooperation. That's absolutely not the case. The differences in agencies, not just the two here today, but all of them in the region, the difference in the agencies are really invisible. There are no lines between these agencies, and we're not worried about the geography involved. We share the responsibility of keeping the community safe. Finally, this is the last month of my career, and I'm going to offer a little commentary I wouldn't otherwise offer. And that is, you know, jails and prisons and funding them are a little bit unpopular these days in a political sense. But when you look at people like these and their associates, prison is the only place for them. And as far as I am concerned, I hope they never get out. I hope you feel the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. It's not my last month, but I wholeheartedly agree with your position on that. Hey, you all need to think of that. That was your grandmother and your grandfather, and that's what these animals did to these people. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the Los Angeles Police Department, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. It's like the Chief talked about, the crooks know no boundaries, and we have outstanding working relationships with all these agencies, and if it wasn't for everybody working together, we couldn't keep our communities safe. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if there's something specific I can't answer, we have the real workers here and the prosecutor here to answer any questions you might have.